I'm wondering when, with your right side, do you use more hand aids because, you know, you can't use so much leg and left side balance or seat?
See, that's a really good question. I use some hand aids, but it's mostly just like suppling. I have to be pretty quiet with my hand. It's really, what I have also, what I forgot to mention, is I have a left whip that actually curves over my left leg that I hold in my right hand. So it can be a lot in the one hand. But the horses are also trained to voice commands, and I'm really lucky to have horses that are pretty sensitive to my seat, which can sometimes be an advantage and can sometimes be a disadvantage, because sometimes they're listening to the right things and sometimes they're not tuning out the wrong things. So it's like finding that perfect balance of, you know, the hand aids and since I can't use my left leg reliably, we rely on a lot of voice aids, and we have a lot of unique commands that people might not necessarily use. And the left whip helps a lot to give them a little reminder that there's still something over there, even though I can't use that left leg.
Sydney, I have a question.
Yeah.
I know you've worked hard, you've worked all your life for this, but you make it sound almost easy. And I want to know, I know it's not good. Throughout your journey of training yourself, what were some of your biggest frustrations and how did you deal with them? Just pick one.
Well, I would say that the vision, the whole visual thing has definitely been a learning curve. There was one time at a show where my vision must have been changing like that weekend, and I went and I showed, and I literally every single shape that I did was 5 meters over to the right. And I went, I was so proud of myself, because I was like, that was awesome, because I didn't know that it wasn't. And I got out of the ring, and my trainer is like, Sydney, you know, everything you just rode was completely off. And I'm like, what? No way. And at that point, he was like, how did you not know that? And it took him kind of getting really creative with me and being super patient with my vision to kind of problem solve through that. And it gets really frustrating because no one else is in my head and no one else can see what I can see. So it's like relating things with words sometimes, what I can see and what I can't see, and then problem solving how to fix it can sometimes get a little bit frustrating. So I would say visually that it has been the most difficult. And also I would say that days where my left side just like isn't cooperating, those are really frustrating days. Like before this latest stroke, my left arm, if anything touched it, it would freak out and basically try to hit me in the face. And thank God Wentworth, he was like, it's all good. The left arm's just freaking out again today. But when your left arm is up here blocking your one good eye, and you're like trying to ride a test, I'm just really. But you know, it's all good. I got through those days, and I mean, we all have those days. So, I mean, I feel like I just always remind myself to just keep smiling and just keep working through it.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question. What is your physical training routine, or do you have like a daily physical therapy or physical training routine to stay, equestrian ready?
I do actually. So I work out at a gym like 2 to 3 times a week, and then I ride 2 horses a day, 6 days a week. So it's a really intensive training schedule. I'm like, I could live at the barn at this point and be perfectly content, because I mean, I'm there most of the time anyway. That's the way most of us like to be anyways.
Are you still competing Wentworth?
Wentworth, I sold Wentworth recently to a really nice lady down in Florida, and she does adult amateurs, so he's teaching someone else now, so that's awesome. And it's just because he didn't have the right quality of walk to be really competitive at the grade 1 level. Unfortunately, it was so hard to part with him. He was such a sweetie. But the good thing is that she goes down to Florida for the winters, but then she's gonna come back to my barn in the summers. So I figure it's the best of both worlds. I'll get to see him in the summer, so it's all good.
And I'm sorry. Does your trainer also ride your horses?
Yes, that's a big thing too. And to keep my horses moving evenly and to keep them from not moving their bodies correctly because of my body is so uneven. We make sure that my trainer gets on my horses at least 2 or 3 times a week, just to make sure that they're moving correctly.
Right, because that would make, your imbalance would definitely affect them.
Yeah, it definitely can show through if an able-bodied person doesn't get on and kind of tune them up and show them this is how it feels to move evenly sometimes.
Right. But my other question is, and I don't know how you can answer this, but how financially, how have you been able to do it? I mean, this is, you're dealing on very high levels of in the horse world.
Yeah, that's honestly the constant struggle. Right now, we've actually formed an LLC, and we're looking for people to come on and help support us because my family, they have been so supportive over the years, and financially we're kind of at the end of what we can do. So we're looking for support and wherever we possibly can, because it's obviously is a really expensive sport.
Yeah, well, certainly we find that.
Right? I mean, anything equestrian is just so expensive. And that's where, I wish, especially because, overseas in England, therapeutic riding is, seen as a therapy. And that's where I wish it was like that here in the United States, because it's incredible what the horses do, but not yet. But I hope one day it'll be like that, through people like my story, who I started off with it, a little bit when I was younger after my stroke, and it definitely helped. I wasn't doing necessarily a complete therapeutic program, but it's just incredible what the horses can do.
And are you Rosie? Is that the one you're competing with?
So right now I'm competing Rosie and my new horse Fritz, and his debut is going to be in January in Florida. And Rosie is actually my trainer's horse, who he basically let me borrow to qualify on for Rio, and then let me show in Rio. She was also on the team for London, so she's been there, got this. She was the only one in Rio who gained weight. She was like it's all good.